My name is Tucker Max, and I'm here to teach you everything you need to know to finish a book this year. So I've written 3 #1 New York Times bestsellers, and my company, Book in a Box, has published, at this point, I think over 750 books. We got a pretty good idea on what it takes, and we're going to run you through the entire process, from understanding whether you have a good book idea in you, evaluating whether or not you should self-publish or traditional, how to write it, how to find time to write it, how to market it once it gets out, everything you need to know start to finish to actually get a book done this year. We're going to walk you through latest and best practices to get it done. But before we actually dig into details, I want you to understand what I'm going to teach you. The first thing is actually more important than how to do it, is understanding what's stopping you. Most people who should be writing books are not writing them because of a very specific obstacle or set of obstacles in their path. So that's really what I'm going to try and help you uncover, is what is stopping you from doing this. And the second thing we're going to go over in this lesson is we're going to give you new ways to think about removing those obstacles, right? We're going to give you new frames to think about, entirely new perspectives. Because for most people, sitting down to write or having the idea is not actually the problem, it's the thing stopping them. All right, cool. So let's start with the first thing that you need to be thinking about if you're going to be writing a book this year. The first thing is, what should my book be about, right? Obviously. Now, here's the issue, is we kind of get two issues. I see this a lot in my company. We get people who come in, they're either unsure if they have a book in them, or they have too many books in them, right? They've got 3 or 4 books and they're trying to combine them together, right? But what's funny is that these actually combine really into the same problem, right? Which is, people have not clearly identified their audience, and they don't know what their audience wants to read about. So let's talk about that and think about that for a second. It's the most important thing you've got to understand before you start a book. Who is your audience? Who are you writing this book for, right? Not who are you dreaming about, not like who do you want your audience to be? Who is it exactly for, right? And now then you've got to ask yourself, what do they want to read about? Not what do you think they should want to read about. Not what do you want them to want to read about. Take your audience as they come and understand exactly what they want. Okay? Now, the big mistakes we see people, it seems obvious, right? Oh yeah, of course, I get that. I have to understand who my audience is and what they want. Yeah, but people, when they actually effectuate this, create a lot of issues. The first one is they'll try and put books together. I call that actually a meatball sundae, right? So meatballs are delicious. Ice cream is delicious. When you put them together, that's disgusting. It's called a meatball sundae. So if you, for example, if you want to write a book that is about starting a business and overcoming cancer and raising a dog, that's really stupid. That makes no sense. Those topics don't go together. Instead, you should be writing different books. That's actually a big thing for a lot of professionals to realize. You can write more than one book. It's totally cool and valid to say, I'm going to write one book about this and one book about this. Okay? So understand, if you've got a lot of ideas and you can't get them into one book, the problem is you have multiple books. The second big mistake that authors make is they don't think about their audience at all. I see this so often, where someone, let's say, they have a great book in them, but once it becomes time to write the book, they get obsessed with themselves and they get obsessed with their book idea and not about the audience. Why does this matter so much? Well, if you want your book to be effective, then it has to reach an audience. Someone has to read it to do something, right? They've got to want to read it. They've got to take some value from it. They've got to talk to their friends about it. You've got to create a book that people care about. You will never create a book people care about if you aren't thinking, who are those people I'm writing for, and what do they want to learn, or what do they want to get from this book? What value do they need? If you are only thinking about yourself, if you are only writing about yourself, that's totally cool. It's called a diary. You don't need to publish that book. Just write it and put it in your drawer. Does that make sense? Good. The third big mistake we see from authors is they aren't clear on the ROI they're trying to get from their book. What happens is someone will realize, okay, yeah, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, I'm an executive, I'm an entrepreneur. I have ideas in my head that are very valuable to other people. A lot of people have told me I could write a book. I'm going to write it. And so they start thinking in terms of, well, what does a writer do? Not how can they use their book professionally, right? So let me give you some examples of what a good ROI from a book is. A good ROI is it's going to generate leads for my business, right? It's going to get me speaking gigs. It's going to establish me as an authority in my field. It's going to raise my visibility. It's going to give me credibility. It's going to advance my career. There's 1,000 things a book can do for you professionally. And that's totally cool. If that's why you're writing it, that's fine, right? But don't think, oh, well, I'm writing my book to save the planet. I mean, look, unless you are Jesus Christ, that's probably not going to happen. Or Buddha, or, like, unless you're some sort of religious figure, your book's not saving the planet. Or people will say, oh, I'm writing my book for other people. Yeah, that's great. If your book is going to help other people, that's fantastic. But if you're lying to yourself about the value it's going to create for you, you're going to make bad decisions about the book and about how to publish the book, about how to market the book, how to position the book. So to make this clear, this is very, very important, this first module, super important. The way to determine what your book idea should be about is very, very simple. What am I trying to accomplish? Who is my audience? What do I know that can help them? If you have clear answers to those three and they integrate, then you've got a clear book idea and it's time to move on.